of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is called to order at 6:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mr. Garland?
Here.
Mrs. Lucas?
Here.
Mrs. Riccardi?
Here.
Mrs. Mayer?
Here.
Mr. Pastor?
Here. Thank you. So good evening, everyone. Nice big crowd here tonight on a summer day, so thank you all for being here for some good stuff and recognition. I'm just going to right away hand it off to Mr. Hutchinson, and we're going to do some recognition of our AP scholars, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pezar. So I just wanted to welcome everyone and thank you for so much of our audience being the crew that's here to recognize our AP scholars and those students themselves. We wanted to take moments tonight to recognize individual accomplishments in our AP program. We've been very proud the past couple of months to be able to talk about the recognition for our school, both directly from the College Board, receiving gold status for our overall performance over the past several years. That comes from having a large number of students in our school participating in college level coursework while in high school. And secondly, for that large number of students to be achieving extremely well. So we are very proud to be able to receive that recognition more globally. We are simply proud to receive a Lighthouse Award from the Department of Education for outstanding practices in our AP program for much of the same reason. What really things boil down to in our AP program that make us so proud is this, that we set high expectations for students, that we challenge more students to be able to take on college level work that they're aspiring to do in just a few short years anyway. They have talented faculty that work with them throughout the year. They take quarterly exams that are really important in preparing them for the official administration in May, and they've really been able to thrive. So we're just grateful all around for being in a position to be able to celebrate outstanding achievement, and congratulations to all those parents. Similarly, I just mention that so many of our students are involved in so many things during the school year, but also during the summer, whether that be vacation, summer jobs, college camps that they're attending. So we are so pleased, in spite of all that, to have such a strong showing of our AP scholars this year. What I'd like to do is just take a moment to just kind of talk about the three criteria that are established by the College Board and call up by each criteria the students who have received recognition this year. I should also make mention that in calling those names, there are students who are currently, I should say now, rising seniors who will be eligible to accumulate more awards based upon their performance and the number of exams they take that year. So their level of recognition at this current year can simply go up in future years. So we're really excited about what's to come for this program. So just to start, our AP scholars, the recognition starts with having received a 3 or higher on 3 AP exams. I'd like to call those names. You can come right up, and we'll give a little applause for all those people at the close. That's Dan Acosta. That's Alex Calderon. Josie Diaria. Kylie John Cohen. Katie Healy. Emma Hennessy. Christy Jose. Jared Mazzola. Gabby McCucci. Peyton Miller. Addison Petrie. Brielle Schumeyer. And Matthew Tortora.
Mr. Hutchinson.
You know what? They don't get any Mr. Alpha?
Matthew.
Okay. I'll tell you what, just to make it easier for everyone, could we, is this okay with the board, could we ask everyone to maybe just come behind?
Of course.
Okay.
Bring it on.
This Pastor?
Yeah.
So if your name's already called, maybe we can do a group photo. Happy problems. They have to take maybe a wide line shot at the end.
That's great.
Okay?
That's great.
Okay.
He's got you. All right, guys, last name.
Next year, we're going to do a panoramic, Mr. Hutchinson.
There we go. That's the goal, right? I like that.
Gabby. Can I give you one? No, I'll give you Kylie.
Thank you. Sorry.
That's quick. Too many. It's a good time. That's right.
Matthew. You know Matthew got called. Is he here? No? Okay.
Okay. There we go.
Just one for you. There you go. Okay.
Okay, our next students will be, 6 students who are AP Scholars with honor. Those are students having received 3.2 average, having taken 4 AP exams in which they've scored a 3 or higher. Those students are as follows: Sophia Centeno, Megan Damascus, Grace Barrett, Demetra Koutsoufanakis, Alexander Palladino, and Angel Montemontes. And lastly, it's my pleasure to be able to recognize those students who received an AP Scholar with Distinction Award. Those students are Renee Canino, Adeline Connor, Ryan Buttle, Noah Donahue, Brian Perko, Nick Cheeto, Marco Purcell, David King, Ryan Maloney, Keenan Matthews, Jacob Murphy, James Deanstead, Taylor Tucker, Robert Warren, and McKenna Wolfhouse. Keith, there you go. Ryan. Dimitri's not here, correct? David, I know is not here. Marcos, there we are. Brady is not here. Emma, that's Nicholas. Here. Perko, did I see Perko? No. Brilla is not here. Megan, there you are. Thank you. Ryan. Arwen, I know can't make it. Sophia. Renee. You have a name, sir?
I think Aaron's right behind you.
No, Aaron, you're here. Is that a surprise? Okay. Oh, his mom that can't make it, right? Okay. This is our crew, folks. Our AP Scholars. Great job.
Okay, guys, come around here.
Come around to the back.
Behind
We can
behind
do
the
it.
board. We'll have the board
2 rows.
still stay seated.
Right, from your Starbucks endorsements.
Everybody open them up. Now hold them like this.
Am I blocking you?
I hope I'm not blocking anybody.
Better close it up together a bit.
Why don't you take, can you fit them all in, John? Yep. Okay. Why don't you take 2 steps forward, folks? Go right behind them.
Yeah.
You don't bite, I promise.
I'd like you to smile, guys. This
Big
is a
smile.
big achievement. We're very proud of you.
It's pretty awesome.
And the parent that gets us all looking at the same time at their picture wins an award at August meeting. No.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Great.
Before Mr. Hutchinson begins with his presentation, 2 things. Number 1, I would like to thank the high school administration as well as Mrs. Opperman for their extensive efforts in ensuring that our school district has about 15 AP courses. We have 1,000 kids, and that is an unbelievable feat for a school district. So I want to thank them very much for their tremendous efforts each and every day with your children. So thank you very much to the high school administration. I just also want to say that the amount of AP Scholars that we are putting out does not begin when they start in 9th grade. That begins in kindergarten, and we have a few of our kindergarten teachers here with us today. The efforts of this staff is amazing, and you can see it in what we are producing here tonight. So thank you all for your partnership. Thank you to our staff for your efforts. Thank you to the board for your support. It's a wonderful evening. Please enjoy.
So just a final note, I especially want to thank our seniors and wish them well. We're going to be moving on, and thank you for taking one last time with us in Emerson. To our, I should say, not our graduates, forgive me, I'm getting that wrong. To our new seniors, I just wanted to say how excited we are because they're still taking on some of the new AP courses that we're going to be offering this year for students. That does mean they have summer assignments. So if it's okay with you, we're going to release those students right now and get right to it.
Of course.
That's what they're doing.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So great. What a crew.
I know, it's so nice. You ever see the cars? Yeah. Right? And like when people start to come back to Route 66. Yeah.
So cool. It's great.
George, go. No problem. All right. Congratulations.
It's pretty impressive.
They're very impressive.
It's summer vacation.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
So much to celebrate.
Yeah, that was a nice crowd for a summer.
Parents say that.
So great. And then there were 5.
Well, listen, Brian.
I appreciate that.
Please, go
Ready
ahead.
to
Thank you.
So I just wanted to thank you again for giving us a chance to talk tonight about some great things that are happening in our school. I can say, I'm starting now my 14th year here as principal. I can't think of times when we've been more enthused about the programming that we're offering our students. So I want to thank you for your support of that. And the caliber of student and young adult that we're putting forth. I didn't say it in front of them, and maybe that's for the best right now, but our rising seniors. We are so excited. I can't think of a time that our building is more excited to be working with a group of young senior leaders. They are going to be setting a very high bar for involvement and achievement, and you'll hear us talk throughout this year referencing their example of being all in on their Cabo experience. A chance for us to set new expectations to enhance programs. Our school is going to be better for having this class 2027 in our building, so I'll share that with them at a later date, maybe once we get a little program in the year. But they are really outstanding leaders. Do want to give you tonight just a little bit of why we are so excited about some of the things going on in our building. I wanted to just kind of reference some of the outstanding things that have been happening in the building to date, and especially this most recent year, and what it will mean for some of our work ahead in the following year. So just to kind of give you a quick list of some things that we have going on, I just wanted to point to some successful programs that have occurred this year. That would be our Tech 7 and Tech 8 semester-based engineering courses, laying a foundation for all students to have what will amount to a full year of STEM education beyond their traditional science and math courses before they hit high school, which is outstanding. Project-based, team-based learning experiences that are grounded in an outstanding platform called SAM Labs that we've been able to tinker with this year and excited to launch even further next. I'm especially excited because in any launch, we have had kids who only had just a dabble of this, but to have kids actually move through the sequence, our 7th graders now taking on a second year and then being encouraged to take on a high school class will be outstanding. Similarly, we launched something to get our junior high a little bit of financial savvy and a little bit of thought about their own personal finances. That's our entrepreneurship class. Again, just a marking period course that's been taught by one of our math teachers who's really made it their own. That's Ms. Brentnall. But an exciting opportunity for kids to get involved in what amounts to about a 45-day kind of Shark Tank routine where they try to solve a social problem, coming up with innovative entrepreneurial ideas. So I'm excited for that. Lending itself all to special education, I'm very proud to say that we were able to launch fully both a junior high and high school emotional regulation classroom. Those are for students who might struggle to achieve up to their cognitive ability in a general education classroom. But we want to make sure that we offer them an opportunity to be able to regulate their emotions, to feel comfortable in their learning, to attend school regularly. And we've noted successes there for a number of our students, both within the classroom and the ability to maybe start to move on to some general education classes this year. So we're grateful for that. Similarly, our LLD program has incorporated a life skills element. So we're going to have a high school cohort of students who are going to be receiving LLD tier of education, but also getting life skills instruction from a certified teacher next year. So we're excited for that as well. That will happen in school, but also beyond school in the form of various trips that they'll be taking to learn how to navigate some social situations beyond campus. We've also managed to incorporate a study skills class specific for junior high. That is a semester-based course that comes in lieu of world language in 7th grade and 8th grade. It was offered this recent year and successfully so. We had the study skills course happen with a teacher that follows the students in 7th and 8th grade, two very capable teachers. I want to commend Ms. Knappenberger and Ms. Barrett for their work here from class to class in the ICS environment, and is able to take it into the study skills environment to do some reteaching, some pre-teaching, getting them started on novels, getting them started on essays, going over concepts they might have not been able to access during the live instructional period. So we're grateful for that. I'm very excited again for what it means for the future. Our 8th grade Spanish program has now been expanded to a full year, allowing those students to be able to entering into a Spanish 2 honors. We're hopeful this will set some momentum to have more 4-year language learners. And then lastly, a high school engineering program, which we're excited to see happen, especially when that was a first entry point. High school kids who have not had the benefit of that launch of going through the junior high STEM program. So we're excited to continue that next year as well. And we are all grateful for the smells and the tastes of our culinary program that was launched this year. It makes our building smell wonderful, especially in those cold mornings when we hear baked things going on in the building. Fantastic. Culinary 1 was grounded in being an outstanding home chef, and I'll segue very quickly to Culinary 2, we're going to offer next year. About next year, Culinary 2 is about being an outstanding restaurant chef. So we're grateful to have Mr. Matanti, who's been an executive chef in his own past, who's going to be leading students through some more proper techniques, especially French techniques, to be able to work with all sorts of different sauces, ways to prepare dishes, to work in the brigade system to prepare themselves for some catering jobs in and around the school. So that's going to be an exciting course that we're offering next year. We're also offering a world literature course that is really accompanying and is going to work in an AB rotation off of a very popular American Literature Honors course. We've seen large enrollment in our AP Language and AP Literature courses, and this honors tier allows more students to access challenging instruction, especially if there might be conflicts in their schedules between the AP English type courses they would otherwise want to take. I do want to spotlight a little bit about AP Seminar, which is a brand new course we're launching. It is a general scholarship and inquiry course where there's going to be group discussions and group presentations on contemporary issues that are worthy of debate. Students are going to have to read facts, look at research, and so we're excited for what's going to go on there. Ms. Johnson is going to be leading that course, and she has experience teaching that course at another district. She's got a large crew of students. I talk about the caliber of student we have, who are eager to take a class that is all about scholarship and research. And to have that many kids who are interested in taking a course like that is outstanding. I think they're going to love it. Just to note, AP Pre-Calculus is going to be a new course that we offer that's elevated from the honors level. Cybersecurity is a popular course that's been endorsed by the College Board, and we're now offering it at the advanced placement level. And then lastly, we're grateful for the grant we've received. Thank you, Ms. Offerman, for an Intro to Artificial Intelligence course that's being taught by Mr. Shama. It's going to be a popular selection for a number of our grade 9 students. So a lot of newness that's happening, even with our existing faculty, changing up some of our roles and offering some, of course, I think it'll match really well with our students. I did mention AP Seminar. I hope this is a launch of a bigger campaign for our school. The College Board has endorsed a program for AP Seminar that allows them to get a certificate in seminar and research. There's an accompanying course purely in research, which is very similar to the independent study course that we've offered in the years past, where kids get to pursue their own learning and really design a course and follow their own research with a faculty mentor. So a year from now, we're going to be offering that course for all students who have taken AP Seminar. And a number of our students, again, because of the caliber and the quality of the course that they've taken, are going to be eligible to receive what is called an AP Capstone Diploma for students who take both AP Seminar and Research, and also have taken 4 other AP classes and achieved well in there. So it'll be a great launch for us, a great thing for them to put forward for future admissions departments. So we're excited for AP Seminar just to get that process started. Something we've messaged throughout the year to our families, and I don't want to ever consider these to be just old-fashioned takes on school, but really good sense measures that help to balance out education. I think a lot of us coming off of COVID had fallen in love with all virtual opportunities and opportunities to use digital platforms for learning and virtual instruction. We have wanted to make sure that we keep our feet on the ground, and I'm grateful that's been endorsed district-wide for some proper brain active instruction. And so you've seen a great push in our 7 through 12 classrooms to have pen and paper, notebooks open, notes being taken as the default mode for which instruction is offered. You're going to see frequently that at select times the Chromebooks are coming out for intentional activities, but we do not have as much of students who are taking notes, who are just receiving instruction by a Google slide deck as being offered by the teacher. We value the skill of being able to listen to another person with eye contact to try to construe what is most important for them. Those are things that you're going to see happening more and more in our classes, something that we're really proud of. To guide a lot of that work, have we implemented a very familiar university note-taking system, a Cornell note system. I provided a link to it in the slideshow itself. To do that, we offered a faculty training on using the Cornell note system, using their official site to launch it. We also offered a very specific advisory lesson on how to do note-taking. You might hear talk a lot about our advisory program. We cluster into small grade level groups for different types of topics. Here, a worthy topic was how to take notes well, so it's something that's been practiced by our students. This is another opportunity for a bit of a spotlight. The experience for students, and I just put a brief frame here of what that Cornell note system, again, it's rather conventional here, but the ability for the students to take informational notes on the right side of the page, to put in key terminology and especially questions that arise in the course of instruction on the left margin, and to be able to summarize their understanding with even sometimes a self-rating about how well did I understand this today at the bottom of the page. Those are all exercises that happen in the course of the course. But what I do want to value, and we say this to our students all the time, this is not a hand exercise, this is a brain exercise to make sure that you are truly digesting and understanding, interacting with information as it's presented to you. And perhaps more valuable than the during class activity is the after class activity, and teaching our students to be inclined to reference their own notes to be able to check, do they truly understand what was presented in class? When they don't, and inevitably they might not, what a rich opportunity it provides is the very substance of questions that you can bring to your office hours for your interactions with teachers. So all in all, it's been a great step forward. We do want to stay on message, like many a worthy project in this district. We want to see this have a multi-year focus. So we're going to hit September really talking again about taking notes and making sure that it did not feel to any of our students like a one and done initiative. Just wanted to make mention, grateful for the endorsement that we've had. We've been able to secure a relationship with Rampo College in its most recent year. I'm proud to say that a number of our students just a week ago received their Rampo transcripts. Having taken some of our courses here with teachers who are certified by Rampo to teach those very classes. We have noted that a number of those courses, because of the certificature of our teachers, are offered at the AP level when there is potential for there to be AP credit. Here, what we're going to be looking at as a district, and especially when we talk about the years ahead, the opportunity to find courses that are taught by certified personnel that are non-AP courses. That might be some time where we might have to invest in some professional development for our teachers to be able to get some certification ahead. But so that doesn't map quite as much with our AP program. However, we're grateful for the opportunity to be able to secure credit from Rampo College. I also want to make reference of our Bergen Community College program. We've consistently had a prep program where seniors can take afternoon courses at Bergen, and we're grateful for that opportunity to launch kids who are interested in attending Bergen. And even in some cases, kids who are going to go on to a four-year college. But most recently, and right now this summer, am I really proud that we've expanded our relationship with Bergen, that we have students who are taking their personal finance graduation requirement. Those are non-seniors, so I have a bunch of students at different grade levels who are taking what would otherwise be a semester class in their schedule through Bergen for $50. It's an outstanding opportunity to clear a little more space. Again, ambitious students that value every blank spot they can have in their calendar. They don't have to take one semester class, which is not to negate the value of that class, but they can fill in with maybe a different business class, for instance, that's a full year term. So we're grateful for the opportunity, something we're going to market and maybe expand after this summer's pilot group. A little bit about our internship program. I talk frequently about transition activities to prepare our seniors to do well in the real world. We've been very proud of the internship program we've been able to offer. This year, after having a parallel program to a relationship we had with a different district, Emerson has had for the past 3 years a cohort of students that have been working with an in-house internship program run by Ms. Nakas. We're very pleased to be able to bring that program entirely in-house, which does a couple of things, not the least of which it represents a huge savings in our budget to be able to do that all in-house. We have also made the decision to offer the internship program as a component of the afternoon schedule for our seniors, not the entire afternoon schedule. The thinking being that we would get much of the value front-loaded by having them go for an afternoon or 2 per week and still be able to take 6 classes as opposed to just 4 classes in their senior year schedule. So they will have PM courses at Emerson and negotiated similar to a clarinet lesson of sorts, having to be out of class at times and going on to do some great things. We have students who are working at New Bridges Medical Center, who are working in surgical offices, students who are working in architectural design firms, students who are working at the DPW, students who are working in restaurants. So really excited for the opportunities, and we'll be able to share some of the details of those experiences very soon. I also just want to share that we have a larger number as a result of bringing it down and made it more palatable for more students to actually take the internship commitment, as opposed to having to clear out their entire afternoon and give up some otherwise great Emerson courses. So happy for that. Just a bit about service learning. I'll just give this short mention only because we've talked considerably at other proud nights about some of the service programs that have been going on in the district, some of the relationships you've seen with other service initiatives you can see at the top of the slide. I do want to commend our PLG structure here. Our PLGs have been working with local charitable organizations to set up service learning opportunities at grade level to design a curriculum of sorts for our students grades 7 through 11 to be involved in noteworthy causes, animal care, environmental concerns, housing, food needs. So each year, grade 9 will be working at whatever it might be, veterans care. That is going to be their service initiative for that year, and so they're going to be using some of their advisory lessons to learn more about issues that are impacting veterans locally, what can be done actionably, and so there'll be fundraising and education campaigns by each grade level, and they'll move on to the next year's area of focus. So we'll have well-rounded students who are inclined to serve their communities, another picture of what we foresee for our students as they graduate at Emerson. I talked just at the very outset about an outstanding senior class. It is the perfect year to launch what has been long in the works. It's an opportunity to celebrate more than just our valedictorian and salutatorian. And so we are working right now on finalizing some cut scores to confer Latin honors to all of our graduates to recognize their GPAs. And we will be presenting those this spring 2027 upon graduation, students having the ability to graduate with honors based upon their 7th semester cumulative GPA, which is the same standard we use for our final ranking. So we're excited to be able to recognize more students for their scholarship in the spirit of recognizing outstanding senior classes. I know that there's been considerable chatter statewide with the upcoming mandate coming into effect for bell-to-bell cell phone bans and policies. I am so proud of our school community and the work that's been done by our teachers and students and Ms. Murphy and Mr. Ponchak for leading the charge. Emerson is already fully compliant and has been now for a full year with our cell phone policy. Bell to bell, our students are doing a great job of having focus in their instruction. You'll hear it oftentimes outside of this building talked about as a cell phone ban. We don't want to reduce it to that, because talking to our students as young adults, do we really want to talk about their ability to socialize, for them to be present in moments, for them to be able to make eye contact with one another? And I can tell you anecdotally from myself and from what I hear consistently from our teachers, and even sometimes when we get them to be honest, our students, that they appreciate having the ability to have their idle time spent in the company and the presence of others and not feeling like they have to default all the time to their cell phones. We do catch students using the cell phones. It does happen, but they understand the consistency and the clarity and the rationale, and I'm really grateful for that. So I just want you to know we're really well positioned to take on what might be this September a difficult time for many districts. Just to close, and I apologize about my ramble, but I am proud of what we've been able to get done. We are really proud right now that all of our assessments are right now aligned with all the course proficiencies that have been set up over the course of years. I just mentioned in trying to care for all of our students how proud I am of the work we've done with our special services department to try to design a program that supports their needs. Of course, and for the umpteenth time, we're proud of our AP program and the DOE recognition that we've recently received. And then the internship program to try to align the be balanced for students rather, to be able to take courses here at Emerson, but offering them outstanding transition activities in the real world. So I just wanted to share some stuff that we're proud about tonight. Looking ahead, just some things you'll hear us talk about in September. We're very excited to talk about some of the learning progressions that have been developed over the course of several years to build better formative assessments, trying to capture students' levels of understanding before we give a summative assessment, be able to be responsive as teachers to where they might be in those learning progressions. We are very excited about the prospect of a portrait of a graduate that might be launched this year, and to use a lot of our proficiencies in the work that's been done. I'm really proud of the years of work that have been put into this, and to see that displayed in some prominent fashion through a portrait of a graduate campaign will be outstanding. I talked about our service learning and how we're excited to launch that, to continue with our dual enrollment programs, opportunities to earn college credit while in high school, and then lastly, to work with our parent community on trying to continue to bolster regular student attendance, noting that it is a fine habit for their scholarship. That might be it. So I do want to thank you for your time and attention. Just know that we are super proud of our students, and even in July, how great it is to be able to talk about the things that have gone on so well this past year, and just how excited we are for next. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. First of all, I found myself excited about everything that you had on every page. The AP courses, the capstone program, the internship, even the cell phone policy, that we're ahead of the curve with that, and it's just a testament to the work that you and Mr. Ponchak and the staff and the teachers all do. So, and it starts from kindergarten. So, thank you all for what you do in getting us here, and we're looking forward to where you're going to take us to. So, any questions from the board before we move on?
Comment?
Oh,
Can I make
please,
a comment?
please.
I just want to say thank you, Mr. Hutchinson, again. This presentation, and just you as well, just continue to elevate the high school experience, and I truly do appreciate it. I agree with Mr. Pazdar wholeheartedly. There were moments I caught myself, I'm like, this is what high school was like for me. There's a sense of familiarity that is leaping off the pages, or leaping off the presentation, rather, that I think parents can also get really excited about in learning and in partnership with their children again through high school. Most noteworthy is the note-taking piece. I'm tracking this too in my profession, specifically with the use of AI and how there's a lot of misuse. We actually just had an article come out in the Law Journal about the University of Chicago Law School actually banning laptops and cell phones for first-year students because they want their students to critically think. They want their students to be present in the classroom again. And so, in line with what we're doing with the cell phone ban and the policy that's impacting so many districts and statewide, I'm happy that we're ahead of the curve. I'm happy that we're committed to that critical thinking element that our students are going to need to be successful beyond these walls and these doors and these classrooms. But just a tremendous presentation. I thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Hutchinson, thank you so much for the presentation. Like Mr. Pazdar, I got pretty fired up on every slide. I'm genuinely excited as a board member, as a parent. It's evident that you and your team have a pulse on best practices, are not content with the status quo, and every year, every semester, we continue to hear about new programs that you're piloting or looking into, and then a few months later, a year later, we hear it becoming a fixture. And I just wanted to use my blinker to say, as a parent, I am thrilled my kids are here, and I don't take for granted. It's very evident, in addition to being a wonderful administrator, you're quite the academic, and it's shown in your leadership. So thank you for the presentation, and as a parent, thank you as well.
Great, thank you, Mr. Hudson.
Thank you so much.
Moving on, Mrs. Opperman, the summary presentation for the 2021 to 26 strategic plan.
All right, I'm only bringing one water bottle up with me.
Well, that tells us
Gotta make it
something.
quick.
I do have another one in my bag though.
just in case.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm very excited to speak to you about the Strategic Plan 2026, which when we wrote this, that was a date so far in the future that we couldn't really quite think about what life would be like in 2026. And many of you were at those meetings, planning meetings that started actually in 2020. We were having meetings in this room the week before we all shut down. And I remember shaking people's hands and then thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't have been shaking your hand right now. And we decided to take a pause. And then we launched this in 2021, which was actually a pretty ambitious thing to do in that year. I don't know if you remember, I'm sure the teachers remember that year of coming in masks for the first part of the year. Kindergarten was seated in rows rather than at tables. Like, school was not regular school, but we still decided to take this on. I'm really proud of this strategic plan, and I love the strategic plan as a vehicle that keeps our story going for a long time, because we have board members. Many of you were not on the board when we started this, and now you are. We've on our third superintendent since this plan was launched. All of these happy changes, but it's nice to have something that we can look back to and say, no, we're working on this, we're going to keep working on this. And something that's very satisfying to me is that we're not going flavor of the week here of, oh, everybody's doing this, let's just do this, that we're being thoughtful and really planning out what we want to do. So I'm not going to go through every single page of the plan, it's very long. I just want to give some highlights of the things that we've accomplished. I'll point out a few things that we're still working on, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's next. One thing you'll notice is that in 2021 we did not have Canva and we did not have AI. So as I'm looking back, these are actually the slides from 2021, and all I did was go and add some check marks. But thinking about what we can do now a little bit better, but also thinking about some of the wordier parts of the plan. Those words were actually all written by us humans, a skill that we're hoping to not lose by using too much AI. So the plan was organized into 5 major areas. The first area being school community member personal growth and development. There are a lot of pieces in here, and I'm just going to speak through a few of them. So our student advisory programs were part of the plan. This includes the heart-centered classroom, which I'm going to mention again in a moment. This includes our Cabo Strong advisory that didn't exist at the time of this plan's writing, and now they're meeting every single week for Cabo Strong at the high school. This includes a health and wellness curriculum. Before the plan, we didn't have health and wellness as a special even at the elementary school, and this coincided with the new standards that came out in 2020 and some hiring of an excellent teacher, and we wrote a curriculum for that, as well as working SEL into all of our subject areas. If you like to spend your time looking through our curriculum documents, which I know I do, they're actually all aligned to the CASEL competencies, and we did some professional development with the teachers around those and how we incorporate them into the classroom. Over the course of the past 5 years, we've had some great parent education programs, especially around some health topics such as cell phone usage, such as cybersecurity and safety, some really terrifying, as a parent, information that's important to get out there to people. Some mental health supports. This strategic plan helped us bring in the West Bergen clinician, who has now become someone who's really integral to our buildings and supporting our students. The one here that I just have a wrench next to is the restorative discipline model. Not that we're not practicing restorative discipline, but we haven't rolled out a K-12 purposeful model. That's something that we can consider in our future planning. A highlight here, I didn't know that Mrs. Felice would be here, so I'm sorry if I'm embarrassing you, but you've had a whole presentation on the heart-centered classroom, but as a highlight of the SEL work we've done, I just wanted to call back to it that it's something that Mrs. Felice piloted and that the rest of Memorial School has taken up, and we've really seen a positive impact on the classrooms and the students. When you walk into a Memorial classroom, everyone's doing what they need to do, and if they have a question, they're not all sitting there with their hand up. They're empowered to talk to one another to kind of solve their own problems. And I even see it as a parent for the things that my kids come home inside. So the other piece of the first chunk was teacher professional learning and leadership. We've been able to start some teacher leadership roles that didn't exist before, including academic coordinators, so who work with the departments at the high school or the grade levels at the elementary school. We also have teacher facilitators for our professional learning groups, which is a new structure that came about as part of the strategic plan. And the professional learning times and structures, we were able to build some days into our schedule, which we thank the flexibility of the parents because we know that it's not convenient to have a half day, but those 2 hours of uninterrupted meeting time where teachers get to meet in a group about something that they care deeply about, something that's aligned to our ongoing plan, that's the work that really moves us forward as a district. Mr. Hutchinson mentioned a few things that came about specifically because the professional learning groups had that time and that leadership to be able to move it forward. And I don't think we would have been as successful on this ambitious plan if the teachers hadn't been working in their professional learning groups to get us there. We also have the staff certification opportunities. We were, one of the silver linings of COVID was the ESSER funding. We were able to send some teachers to get their ESL certifications. We were able to send some teachers to get their Orton certifications, and that's something we have actually been able to build into our budget. Thank you to Mr. Marmora going forward up to this point. We are now in our third cohort of teachers who are getting their Orton certification, which is really impressive. I don't know any district that has such a percentage of teachers who are highly qualified in this type of literacy instruction. We also have been able to have some partnerships and get internships from various colleges. So here for a highlight, I have some of our first Orton cohort and one of our ESL teachers being celebrated at a board meeting, and this would have been probably 4 years ago at this point, and we just keep rolling that forward. Here's a photo of just last month, one of the professional learning groups. This is a high school professional learning group around AI. They're meeting in my office with the consultant that we were able to pay for with one of our grants this year, the Teacher Empowerment Grant. And one of the great things about this professional learning group structure is that it is flexible enough to help us meet challenges that we weren't anticipating. So when we first designed our professional learning groups, we did not have an AI professional learning group because AI wasn't really, it was a thing in development in the computer science world, but it wasn't really a thing that was impacting our classrooms and our professional work. So we were able to pivot and add that as one of our professional learning groups so that there's a leadership team of teachers who are the ones kind of trying things out, making recommendations to the administration, sharing ideas with the staff. And over on the right, you can't read it at all. That's one of our agendas for a professional learning group where our teacher facilitators create and keep the agendas. And this one's structured with a CRAM structure, which is one of our acronyms, which is Connections, Reflections, Agenda, and Norms. That reminds me that in order to do all this teacher leadership, we had some great training for our teachers through the Great Schools Partnership, where we learned how to write a good meeting agenda. See, this is the letter. I don't know how you can give the whole presentation. Where we learned how to write a good meeting agenda, how to facilitate a meeting, which can be tricky when you're meeting with a bunch of your colleagues. You're not the boss of them. You need to be able to get everyone on board and stick to an agenda. And we found that this training helped that the PLGs keep some consistency from room to room so that every single one, when we visit, is keeping to some similar norms and similar agendas for those meetings. The next large goal in the strategic plan is diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we broke that down into two areas, one being our culturally responsive practices, and then the other being student equity and outcomes. So we were able to do some curriculum updates. One of the projects we did early on in the strategic plan was the NYU scorecard, where we actually went through our English language arts curriculum, K through 12, and wrote down every single book that the students read and looked up, is the author a man, is the author a woman, what's the ethnicity of the author, do they fit in any other special categories? And then we looked at the main characters of the books. Are they a boy, are they a girl, what is their ethnicity? Many of the books actually have animal protagonists, and we had some good reflective conversations at each grade level. There's no right answer for the balance that we're looking for, but it did cause the teachers to go back and say, like, actually, will you order me these 5 books? Actually, we would like to add these books. So you'll see year after year, we're adding more books to our curriculum, and we've been able to make it a bit more balanced, which is nice. We've added a lot of cultural activities and offerings, many of these through the clubs program at the high school. Some professional development in this area. We had some consultants from a group called We Need to Talk, which led us through how to have some difficult conversations. We've unfortunately continue to have some difficult conversations with the students and with the faculty around bias incidents that occur not only in Emerson, they occur everywhere, but this work has set us up to be able to have those conversations. We've also worked on our support for multilingual students and families, so that we have a parent liaison who specifically, she actually goes to people's houses sometimes, she calls them, she does a lot of Spanish language translation at PTA meetings to help bring some members of the community who might not feel welcome at a PTA meeting to feel that welcome and be a bit more included. And here I have the yellow on staff recruitment. We've expanded our recruitment efforts. We will always hire the right person for the job, no matter their skin tone, gender, what have you, but we would like to cast a wider net, because if you look at the demographics of our students and the demographics of our staff, there is quite a gap in terms of representation that I think we could do a little bit better. In terms of student equity, this is a place we're doing wonderfully. Data analysis by subgroups. I will be back up here to give a testing presentation. I do not know when. We do not have that data yet. We do not know when we're getting that data. So to be determined, but I will share that data analysis as we've been doing for years. We've reviewed some software to be able to do that data analysis a bit better. And we've really made a focus. It's one of the professional learning groups at each building is the tiered systems of support and interventions, talking about what's happening within the classroom, what's happening outside of the classroom. We've been able to add some interventionist positions as a result of the plan to make sure that we are meeting every single child where they are and trying to get every single child into those seats at the presentation senior year to be able to celebrate them. So here I have, and this one I'll embarrass Mr. Hutchinson with the photo, that we won 2 AP awards specifically this year around equity. The idea that we have more students represented in our AP courses than most other high schools, that we have more students succeeding in our AP courses. It's just something I'm deeply proud of, and it's something that the whole district shares as a victory. No one person is making that happen, but it's a great equity indicator that not only are our students graduating and meeting all the things that the state says they have to, that they're going above and beyond and doing the college coursework. So next is the alignment of our academic expectations and 21st century skills. This is where we get into proficiency-based learning and student opportunities and pathways. So as part of our professional development, we've been doing some literacy professional development with other subject areas to make sure that we're reading and we're writing in all of our classes. And as we did our proficiency work, looking at our cross-curricular proficiencies, that every single teacher is teaching some reading and some writing, especially in high school when they become departmentalized. We're no longer saying, like, I don't need to write a paragraph, I'm in science class. No, you do need to write and you do need to read. And we have some now common expectations and some common rubrics that teachers can use to teach into those expectations and to assess them. We've also worked habits of work, K through 12. You'll see that on the report card explicitly in Memorial School and Volano School. We've had a lot of conversations at the high school through our Cabo Strong Advisory and how to assess those. They're not currently on the report card. Parent communication, I will come back to. I think that's where the Portrait of a Graduate is going to come in to make sure that this is better communicated. There will be some website work this summer. We actually just hired our graphic design teacher to take some of the work that teachers have been working on for years and make it look nicer so that we can put it up on the website for public viewing. Performance indicators and scoring criteria and the reporting system software. I'm going to switch to my visual. I cannot stress what an amazing undertaking our teachers did, that every single subject area from kindergarten up through grade 12, we've identified what we believe that a student needs to be able to do to be proficient, to move up to the next grade, to eventually graduate, and then broken it out into a learning progression or a scoring criteria. So what does it mean if you're preparing at this skill? What does it mean if you're developing at this skill? What does it mean if you're proficient at this skill? What does it mean if you're excelling at this skill? And then we've realigned our report cards at Memorial and Volano to be using this exact same language so that we are consistent going K up through 6. On the left, you'll see that's the Volano report card, which this year for the first time we ran in an Otis system. so that they have a traditional grade like they will get at the high school, but we're not losing that proficiency piece that they get from Memorial, talking about, you know, your child might be a 96 in social studies, but this child is proficient in critical reasoning, they're excelling and applying disciplinary concepts, and they are proficient at diverse perspectives. So that if that child and that parent wants to know what's next for them, or for a child who isn't proficient in an area, they know where they need to work on that. So we have this amazing database of proficiencies and scoring criteria that we will be cleaning up this summer and putting on the website. And when you come to our Portrait of a Graduate meetings, you will see some of that work, because that is what will become our portrait. Student opportunities and pathways. Mr. Hutchinson spoke to most of these. College credit we are especially excited about, as well as our woodshop and our engineering program. Virtual and hybrid learning is something we were really excited about in 2021, and then after our pandemic experiences, we still do have an opportunity. It's nice in a small school that if a child really wants to take something that we can't offer, we can often offer it virtually for that child. But what we've found year after year is that there isn't a good replacement for being in a classroom with a human teacher in terms of learning, and that's something that we've grown to value more and more. As there's more and more technology, we're valuing that human piece even more strongly. The next piece is community participation for citizenship and democracy. So this is student experiences beyond the classroom, as well as family involvement. So Mr. Hutchinson spoke to the first two, service learning and experiential learning. That's something that we are currently getting off the ground, so that's why it's in yellow, but I think if I were to give this again next year, that would be a green check mark. I'm really proud of the work that we're doing there. The local internship program Mr. Hutchinson spoke about, and then a big push from the parents when we had the meetings about strategic planning was the wish for more extracurriculars. When the plan started, we didn't have clubs at Memorial School. We now have clubs for grades 2 and 3. That was a really nice addition that came directly from parent requests for this plan. We've also been able to add clubs at Volano, add clubs at the high school. And again, a strength of our school is if there's something that the students bring to us that they're into, we're able to offer it as a club. If there's something, when we hire a new teacher and they come to us with a passion, we're able to offer it as a club. So that we have a really diverse set of offerings. I have our robotics team here on the right to show that we have these, it's called a club, but it really functions much like an athletic team throughout the year. So it's not just a club that, oh, we're just gonna show up and be in a club. They're really doing great things. For family involvement, we did some communication about the learning goals. We will be doing more family programming over the course of the year. We, for several years, had speakers before the PTA meetings. We're still trying to figure out the ideal way to get information out to families. So that's something that we will probably be talking about at our focus groups for Portrait. Our community school is flourishing. Two things that we didn't necessarily accomplish from this plan was starting financial literacy for parents of younger students, thinking about, so I'm a kindergarten parent, and when I sat in the demonstration lessons for our new business teacher and they were talking about the cost of college, I almost had to get up and leave the room. So things that are our youngest families thinking about and planning for the cost of college for their students. That's something I think we could work on. And then one of our dreams was to have an Emerson Education Fund, which many districts do have a fund which is able to do some things financially that the district isn't able to do. And the last and not the most exciting portion of the plan was the district operations and infrastructure. We did review student information systems. We found that nothing could do everything that Genesis does, so we ended up doing a big review and then staying with Genesis and just layering some things on top of it. The paperless human resources we have not fully succeeded on, but we have a contract with Frontline Absence Management, so we will be rolling that out. We will be looking at some ways to make some other things a bit more paperless, but we need to make sure that it works as well as the paper because a lot of the things that we've tried to bring on or that we've been to demonstrations for, we are such a small place that it is often easier for me to just say, like, here's the paper, okay, you sign it, you sign it, you sign it, we're done. So we need something that works as well as that with our technology. So now I'm going to turn from the 21 to 2026 to talk 2026 to 2027 and beyond. We are excited to be launching a portrait of the graduate process, and you can see that now Canva exists, so I can make it look a little bit prettier. And Ms. Trahan, our graphic design teacher, is helping us work on some flyers and some slides and things to help with that, so that when we roll this out, it'll look incredibly professional. So I stole some language here. I borrowed some language from the Great Schools Partnership. We've been working on with various things for this, and I will read off the slide for this one. A portrait of a graduate articulates the collective hopes and dreams that a community has for its students and the skills and attributes that all students need in order to be prepared for college, careers, and life. It is a compass that guides district-wide strategic and instructional decision-making and planning. So the reason behind undergoing this process, it's a way to engage the community. You will be getting some communication from Dr. Torrento about some parent programs starting in August, opportunities for the community to come together, talk about what does it mean to be a CAVO, what do we want for our students. It's an opportunity for us to share out with the community some of this great proficiency work we've been doing and get some feedback around it. It becomes a compass for teaching and learning, so that proficiency work we've been doing really has become our compass, where teachers are planning the experiences for the classroom, making sure that we are hitting those proficiencies and students are achieving those proficiencies year to year up to graduation. And we will keep equity at the forefront here. This is a portrait of every graduate, things that we want for every single child in Emerson. So more to come about the portrait, but we're excited to get it started.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
No, thank you.
Yeah, so it was nice to hear this summary of, we've all, most of us were, or some of us were here from the beginning of this, and so it was interesting for me to kind of hear the summary of what we've been watching and had a hand in developing. So I thought it was a nice summary, and I appreciate that you highlighted the areas where we didn't meet our goals and that we need to do more work. And I think that's important as part of the transparency and the communication. So I appreciate that, but it was nice to see that summary. So thank you for that. So if nothing else, thank you, Mrs. Opperman. Okay, moving on, I'll do my report, board president's report. Mr. Hutchinson, you heard my remarks on your presentation. Again, thank you for your work. I appreciate the presentation. Mrs. Opperman as well, thank you again for that. One other thing, I'll just make this quick. We think of the summertime as kind of like the off-duty time, right? A lot of people are, just vacation time, and then it should be, but summertime is a busy time for administrators and staff, and so I know they've been working hard in getting our schools ready for September, but I wanted to just point out that we're in it's a dynamic environment, right? We're not static. It's not the same exact things every day, every week, every month. Summer is no exception, and so I know things happen. Trains break down in the middle of the road, and people crash into poles, and power goes out, and storms come through, and things that we're not expecting. Tennis courts have problems, and so a lot of new things that have to get added to the whiteboard of things to do. So I just wanted to, without getting into them, I know that, I don't know if at this point if it was last week or a couple of weeks ago, but a lot of these new dynamic things happened in town with the power outages, and I know Dr. Torrento was on top of it. I was getting messages, late at night or early in the morning, on the weekends, and you're on top of it. I know Mr. Momora's on top of it. So I just wanted to highlight that and just say thank you for the work you do, being on top of things, and taking care of things that are not necessarily on your list of to-dos. So I appreciate that, and thank you, and please pass that on to all the people who worked with you on that.
Thank you.
So that's it for me. I'll hand it to you, Dr. Trento, for your report.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, my presentation for the SSDS is not exciting nor thrilling in comparison to the first two we just heard. But very quickly, the SSDS end-of-year presentation is the collection of data that monitors safety and compliance, specifically incidence-based removals of students. There are specific categories that they are categorized as violence, vandalism, substances, weapons, and HIB confirmed. I'm happy to report that between last school year and this school year, we have the same total amount of incidents, which is 9, which is a fantastic number. Last school year, there were 4 incidents of violence and 5 HIBs that were confirmed. This year, we had 1 issue of violence, 1 of substance, and 7 confirmed HIBs. So I would just like to point out to the Board of Ed and to anybody listening this evening that for a school district of 1,000 students, these are fantastic data points. And I want to thank the administration for their proactive approaches, for having specific procedures in place for students to understand healthy habits of engagement with one another and with adults. Also want to thank parents for their continued partnership at home for when our kids do make some mistakes, and that needs to be also spoken about at home so it doesn't occur again. So thank you all for that. And so with that, I would like to thank Mrs. Opperman and Mr. Hutchinson for 2 outstanding reports. Both presentations demonstrate our district's continued dedication in making incredible strides across all academic areas and grade levels while maintaining a steadfast commitment to developing the whole child. Additionally, our district, as Mr. Hutchinson did note, we remain committed to the appropriate use of technology during the school day. We will continue to minimize the use of devices and digital platforms, utilizing technology only when it enhances, enriches, and supports the instructional environment for our learners. On tonight's agenda, we have 4 policy updates, including the student use of internet-enabled devices, which was also noted in one of the previous presentations. In January, Governor Murphy signed into law that codified 18A 3640, which prohibits student use of internet-enabled devices on school grounds during the school day in New Jersey public schools. While this policy and regulation are new, the practices reflected in the documents mirror the procedures that have already been in place in Emerson Public Schools for years. As a result, there are no changes to our current expectations or procedures. We will continue to maintain a cell phone and personal device-free instructional environment that supports student engagement and learning. On another note, I would like to thank our families and staff members for their flexibility at the start of our summer programs. Severe storms over the July 4th weekend required us to cancel the opening days of our programs, and last week we had to ask both programs to remain indoors due to poor air quality. Your patience and understanding are deeply appreciated. These first 7 months as my tenure of superintendent have unfortunately included several situations that have required school closures or program cancellations. And while these circumstances are not typical, I certainly wanted to communicate to the community that whenever difficult situations may arise and difficult decisions have to be made, the administration and the Board of Education will continue to place the safety of our students and staff above all else. Finally, I just would like to provide a quick update on the tennis and pickleball courts. During the maintenance process, it became clear that the entire playing surface needed to be replaced, rather than simply just being repaired. While this extended the timeline, we are happy to report, weather permitting, that the court should be ready to be used next week, and all costs were under warranty. Besides that, I would just like to thank everybody. Thank you to staff members for coming this evening. Again, I just want to thank Mrs. Opperman and Mr. Hutchinson. We are so incredibly lucky to have these 2 individuals on our administration, as well as the entire team. They make my life as a superintendent much easier. And they also bring a level of excitement that they expressed tonight for me, being new, to be here for the next couple of decades, hopefully. We are in wonderful hands here, and we are very excited for what the future will bring to Cabo Nation. So with that said, have a wonderful and healthy rest of the summer, and go Cabos.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Trento. So with that, we'll move on to the rest of our agenda. And Mrs. Riccardi, could you please adopt a motion to open the meeting to the public?
I move to open the meeting to the public for input and comments on agenda items only.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Lucas. All in favor?
Aye.
If no comments, Mr. Grolick, could you close the meeting to the public?
I move to close the meeting to the public for input and comments.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Mara. All in favor?
Aye.
The board has had an opportunity to review the agenda items, and if there are no items for discussion or any questions, Mrs. Lucas, could you adopt Resolution A?
I motion to adopt all items on the above consent agenda.
I second.
Seconded by Mrs. Riccardi. Roll call, please.
Mr. Garland?
Aye.
Mrs. Lucas?
Aye.
Mrs. Mara?
Aye.
Mrs. Riccardi?
Aye.
Mr. Pasdar?
Aye. Thank you. We'll move on to committee reports. Mrs. Lucas, Chair for the Facilities, Buildings, and Grounds.
Hi, everyone. I think Dr. Trento touched on a couple things that I was going to report on for this committee. The first was the July 4th storm. Obviously, the first 2 days of Cavill Camp and community school programs were not had due to the power outages. I have to say, I think you touched on this, Mr. Pasdar. It's extreme transparency with communication as a board we've been getting from Dr. Taranto, and we know all this is going on, which I really appreciate. So I think that's been done wonderfully. And also the tennis courts, which I was going to bring up, as she said, it's being worked on right now. Hopefully they'll be up and running by next week or whenever that is. The memorial roofing project has begun and is progressing on schedule. It remains on track for completion by the end of July. Also, the Volano Art and Music Room renovations are currently underway, and floor remediation and installation is scheduled for the end of July. Summer cleaning is underway, like always. You know, the waxing in the rooms that aren't in use right now are all being done as per usual. And the only update for anything going on with the Armenian home, there's a land use board meeting scheduled in the town for the next meeting is August 6th. That's all we have to update on that end. And that's it for my report.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Lucas. For budget and negotiations, nothing to report tonight, as we've had no meeting, and I will report on the next meeting. We'll move on to curriculum instruction and student achievement with Chair Mr. Grolick.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. We met on July 14 last week. Myself, Dr. Tarento, Ms. Riccardi, Ms. Opperman were in attendance. And a lot of the stuff was mentioned tonight, but all good stuff. We took a look at some data, WIDA scores for our multilingual learners, which is a proficiency exam for them, as well as took a peek at those AP results, which were obviously very pumped up tonight, as characterized as our first presentation. There's some summer curriculum work currently going on. Our Project Lead the Way engineering course is being worked on, Spanish in grades 7 through 12. I want to make sure I got that right, the number, because my handwriting's crazy. Spanish, yes, 7 through 10, my apologies. ESL, K through 12, Algebra 2, Applied Math, checking out a new course in video game design is being drafted. Life skills, as Mr. Hutchinson mentioned, for grades 6 through 12. All that is being worked on actively now. And up on the curriculum webpage under drafts for the community to be able to peruse are current drafts for STEAM 1 and 2. Science K through 12 has been updated, some minor but required tweaks for standards with regards mandated standards from the state. Both ELA and health have updated resources, no changes to standards or learning objectives or units, anything of that nature. That is also up for the public to peruse as well. We talked briefly about the Portrait of a Graduate, which was introduced tonight by Ms. Opperman, which we're really excited about. And wishing our team well as they head down to Trenton on July 28th to unveil their AI toolkit, which our team of educators worked very hard on, in which they created essentially a digital toolkit for educators to use to make their lives a little bit more easier on things that is not actively teaching. So exciting stuff going on, and that is it for me and my report this month.
Great, thank you. We'll move on to individual board member reports. Mrs. Lucas.
Hi again, everyone. I just wanted to say congrats to all of the high school AP scholars, and also to Mr. Hutchinson and his staff. I think that this is a really awesome accomplishment for both the students and our school district as a whole. It's really showing that here at the high school, a learning environment has been created that really encourages every student to challenge themselves and strive to reach their full potential, which I think is wonderful. And also to Mr. Hutchinson and Mrs. Opperman, thank you for your presentations. There's so many wonderful and exciting things to look forward to in the upcoming school year. And I think the takeaway for me is, as I really come back to, I feel like, this is really such a student-centered approach using for both the strategic plan and the new courses, where the students are really at the forefront of all decisions being made, which you can't ask for anything more than that, right? And Mr. Pasdar said, but thank you to everyone working over the summer. I think it's easy to forget sometimes all the things happening behind the scenes, from the custodians, guidance counselors, CST, secretaries, admin, everyone. They're super busy in the summertime. So thank you to everyone who's working hard to get ready for September. And the last thing is, I'm very excited about the Portrait of a Graduate, which is going to start being rolled out. I think the community will be getting some correspondence in the coming weeks. So stay tuned more about that. That is really going to be like an exciting new thing for this year. That's it for my report.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Lucas. Mr. Grolick.
Hello again. Just want to touch back real quick. The AP presentation this morning, this morning, at the beginning, the morning part of the AM part of the meeting, the early part of the meeting. I'm super proud that we're being we have a boatload of kids who came here tonight, and a lot of them couldn't because it's July. Who are being honored for their outcomes, what they're doing on these individual tests and their success. And then we have a district that's being recognized for the opportunities and access that they're providing to all of our students. And I just think that is really amazing, that those two things are not just coexisting but flourishing. And so thank you to our district admin, our school admin, our teachers. It's just really amazing, and I think it's so much to be proud of. Appreciate the strategic plan update, Ms. Opperman. As Mr. Pasdar said, I just think it's really refreshing to take a step back and see our successes, and also opportunities for us to, potentially roll into our next strategic plan where we can keep going and keep reaching. One of my favorite memories as a stakeholder of Emerson Public Schools comes long before I was a board member, and I was in this room working on the strategic plan as a community member, and I look forward to the future meetings we have for Portrait of the Graduate. They're some of my fondest memories looking back, and I'm sure we're going to have some wonderful conversations with the community moving forward on that. And finally, our facilities team, there's a giant shot clock hanging over your heads. You have a million things to do. And so let me just be another birdie in your collective ears to say thank you for the work you do. You got thrown a couple curveballs this summer in addition to the immense amount of tasks, but we know that come September, you're going to do everything in your power to make sure our facilities are ready to go for some great learning to continue. So that's it. Thank you all very much for your time, and that concludes my report.
Great, thank you, Mr. Grolick. Mrs. Mara.
Short and sweet tonight. I'll echo all of the thank yous that have already been said, but truly, Dr. Trento, you've been extremely communicative for all of the board members, also for the community, but particularly with the wildfires and the train derailment. There's everything that you could possibly not want to deal with as a superintendent in your first 7 months, and here you have it, and you've done it with ease. So thank you to the central office and our admin and our staff members that are continuing to buzz and work through the summer to put together amazing presentations for us, but also to get us ready for the fall. thank you again to Mrs. Opperman and Mr. Hutchinson for this evening's presentations, and to our facilities and maintenance, because we have so many activities going on campus during the day with CAVO, our CAVO camp and community school. That, again, as everybody has said already, it can get lost, but our district is still buzzing, and it's also with the work of our staff members that are coming in for the month of July, to whether it be here on campus or be for the rec camp. It's just really great to see. I hope everyone's enjoying their summer. And also, too, just a PSA for parents out there, that if you have questions or if you see things on the internet that are spurring discussion, please feel free to contact our central office and to speak with Dr. Torrento. She'd be happy to speak with you on any of the burning questions that might be arising, and willing to work those things out. So that's my report.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Mayor.
Thank you.
And Mrs. Riccardi.
Thank you. Lots of echoing here. And congratulations to our AP scholars who are now long gone and enjoying life. But thank you, Mr. Hutchinson, for your wonderful report, and to you, Mrs. Opperman, for yours as well. Excuse me, I need a cup of water. I was part of our training that we have to do every year, but then people didn't know, as board members, you have to do training every year. And I finally completed mine for this year. I did a self-paced course, which never is faster than just taking the course itself in less time. But I did the self-paced course, and today, actually, and it was a whole section around student-centered learning, having students feel supported, heard, and safe. So there was the trauma-informed classroom discussion, and how to make students feel safe, and really just being able to be their best self. And just between the two reports, it speaks volumes that we're doing that here. And it's done, again, from the Heart Center classroom in kindergarten all the way on up. We'll start in pre-K, all the way on up. That we're not just looking at students as, the 5-year-old child, but who is this person going to be when they're an adult? How do we make them into the best human being, a good civil servant? How do, everything that you said, it echoed over and over. I have my notes written down because it was, it's meaningful. I'm really excited for these STEAM 1 and 2 offerings. Mrs. Opperman was joking that she was hoping that she could sit in the class and take them, and I kind of do too. They sound really fantastic. I'm jealous of the students that they have them as options. I'm also incredibly excited for the portrait of a graduate and for the work coming up with our website. I think it's so important for our community to really know how wonderful that our schools are, the work that's being done in them, because as wonderful as it is for us to sit here and listen to you all, I wish that the seats were filled for everybody else to do it, and unfortunately it doesn't work like that. So if we put it right in front of their faces on their phones, it might just ring home. And there's so much to celebrate. I can't wait for it. So thank you to our central office. Thank you for answering your text messages while you're on vacation, Ms. Nomura. I did not know you were on vacation. And to, again, Dr. Torrento. She truly, she was here the morning after that freak storm. Like 7 a.m. We have an email about the damage that had been done here. And so truly thank you. She cares very much, and it's obvious. It's obvious. But with that said, that concludes my report. Hope everybody has a great rest of your July.
Thank you, Mrs. Riccardi. Mr. Marmora, Business Administrator's report.
Thank you. So I'm happy to report that we're ending this current school year in really good shape, finance-wise, as we close out. So big thanks to the business office staff who have really had to adhere to strict deadlines and timelines to get a lot of this information in and done. So great job from them. And also what I wanted to touch on too was that last week there was a rate setting committee meeting for the state health benefit program that Emerson is currently a part of, we're enrolled in. So right now these are preliminary numbers that have been released by the actuaries and their recommendations on what the 2027 rate increase is going to be. So Right now, we're still looking at a significant increase in health benefit rates in the mid-30s. So we're looking at about a 34% increase in health benefit rates. There's going to be another meeting with the rate setting committee. I believe it's July 27th, so we'll have more information about that. But this is significant news because it's going to have another major impact when it comes to budgeting for our 27-28 school year. This is something that I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on, monitoring it progressively as the school year goes on. It'll probably be part of my reports as we go through. But just something that I want to get ahead of now to start planning, and thought it was very important. As we saw the impact it had on the 26-27 budget, that this is something that we're going to have eyes on already now. So just wanted to throw that out there, and that concludes my report.
Great, thank you, Mr. Marmora. Before I move on with the next part of the agenda, just to touch on that, if I may, for everyone who's here and for everyone hopefully out there who's going to be watching this or is watching this, I mentioned in one of our previous board meetings that the discussion around budget is not going to be a seasonal thing. We're not just going to talk about it when budget time rolls around. It's going to be something that we're going to continue talking about because we want to be transparent, we want to communicate effectively, and we want to let the community know not just about all the good things that are happening, but also the challenges that we're all facing and the challenges that will be coming up. So this is part of that process and that effort, is to make sure that we're communicating where we are, what things are going to look like in terms of budgeting, and what we're doing to try to address it. And again, this is not an Emerson thing. It's not an individual school thing. It's a statewide, nationwide issue. And so again, I just want to make sure that we have consistent and continued communication around budgeting and the challenge that we're all going to have in the upcoming school year. So I just wanted to make a comment on that. Thank you, Mr. Marmora. Since I just made a comment, I want to give the board an opportunity if they want to make a comment about that, and if not, we can move on. Okay? So with that, Mrs. Riccardi, could you open the meeting to the public for input and comments?
Motion to open the meeting to the public for input and comment.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Lucas. All in favor?
Aye.
If no comments, Mrs. Meyer, could you close it?
Sure, I move to close the meeting to the public for input and comments.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Grolick. All in favor?
Aye.
And Mrs. Lucas, could you close this out, please? Motion A.
I motion to close the meeting to the public and adjourn at 7:55 PM. The next meeting of the Board of Education is scheduled for August 24th, 2026 at 6:30 PM in the high school media center.
I second.
Seconded by Mrs. Riccardi. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a
Thank you,
great
everyone.
evening.
Congratulations, Mary. Bye-bye.
Aye.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
summer.
Adam, we good?